Welcome to the Heavenly Treasury broadcast where we help believers achieve God's financial abundance for your life. Today we're going to be talking about a much bigger topic than we usually do, and that's believing for bigger. Now, why do I want to talk about this today? Because the average American has $400 in the bank. What can you do for $400? What impact can you make for $400? Yes, it could do something, but in reality, is it going to do a significant heavenly transformative manner for the kingdom? No. That means you have to believe for significantly bigger than you already are. And I want to start with this very question. Is $1 million a lot of money? Because why do I ask this? Because most people's financial goal is to be a millionaire. It's more than what they have. All right? Because again, average American, $400, average household makes about 60, 65 grand a year. That's a long time to become a millionaire if you're just going to do it over and over and over again. Even for the proper saving and investing the way the typical financial gurus tell you to do it, that's going to take a long time. And Jesus is coming soon. So we got to figure out something better and something more impactful. And the Bible talks about this quite a bit. And that's what we do here on this broadcast. We highlight portions of the Bible that are going to help you where you are right now to achieve the abundance that God has called you to do. So again, I want to start with this question. Is $1 million a lot of money? And there's a reason why I'm asking this. So just think about this for a second. If you've never had $1 million in your hand, or even conceived of having $1 million in your hand, you probably think it's just so out there. I mean, it's impossible to get. Okay? But let's say for the moment, all of a sudden, tomorrow, you woke up with that $1 million. Or at your job, for some miracle, they said, here you go, son. Here's $1 million as a bonus. And you got $1 million earned. What would you do with it? And how would it change your life? So just think about that for a second. And literally just stop and think. Now, again, I know a lot of you are already millionaires. I'm not putting that past you. But for the most people who are watching this, you probably aren't. And when you think about how much money $1 million is, it can seem like a lot. But I want to tell you this. Once you have that $1 million and you've thought about it and what you would do, and again, not putting it past all the wonderful things you could probably do with $1 million that you couldn't do today. But I want to start with this. $1 million after a 10% tithe leaves you at $900,000. Once you pay taxes on that $900,000, you're now down to $500,000. Now, what can you do with $500,000? Well, watch this. What is an average home worth today? Here is the average home at the beginning of 2023. Now, if you can't see this and you want to zoom in, the average home sold in America at the beginning of 2023 was $500,000. So $1 million, if you got it today, would get you three things: tithe, taxes, and a home. Not a nice home, an average home. Remember, this is average. This is median household prices at the beginning of 2023, which is not even a year ago. Not even a year ago. All right. So there you are. Your $1 million just poof, gone. And all you have to show for it is a house. Now, house is a house. I live in a house. Not discounting that. But for a lot of you, now you're thinking, wait, where'd my $1 million go? Where'd my $1 million go? Well, it's gone. So just think about this. For those of you at the beginning of this who even just 5 minutes ago were watching and think, oh my goodness, $1 million is a lot of money. Well, guess what? It is not a lot of money. Not in today. No. 30 years ago, maybe a different story. But in reality, inflation really just eats away at the net worth of the dollar. I want to say it's about 50% every decade or so. So whatever the price is of your favorite thing is today, 10 years from now, it's likely going to double. Why do I say that? Because the important thing, as we talked about at the very beginning when I started doing this broadcast, is to how we properly earn money biblically. And there's a reason for that, because otherwise you cannot keep up with inflation. And that eats away at every single thing you do. Every single thing you do, every single dream you have. Case in point, how many of you, when you were growing up, had a dollar menu on your favorite fast food restaurant? I did. Love going to Wendy's, getting that dollar menu. Dollar was a 5 or 10 piece nugget. Perfect place to go. For $2, I got a hamburger and some chicken nuggets after school. Perfect snack. $2. Now go to Wendy's and see how much a 4-piece chicken is and a small hamburger. Not a kid's hamburger, an adult hamburger. Case in point. Now it's the same thing with all of your dreams and goals as well. Any single goal that we have is going to require at least $1 million. Minimum. Just think about this right here. An average home in America in 2023 was $500,000. So again, that's half of your $1 million bonus. Gone. Poof. That's it. So we got to think bigger, especially as believers. So again, especially even if you're in the ministry right now, no matter where you want to go, no matter what you want to do, if you want to plant a church somewhere, what do you think of land is going to cost? What do you think a building is going to cost? All of that is minimum 6-7 figures. 6-7 figures. So again, we've got to start believing bigger for our vision and our purpose and our assignment, that anything that we require is going to be at least a 6 to 7 figure job. Now, there's a reason why I want to expand your mind a little bit starting today. And the reason for that is because if we're going to achieve what the Lord has called us to achieve, we're going to have to gather those resources and earn them in the marketplace to be able to generate the kind of funds that are going to make a big impact for the kingdom of heaven. So that's what I want to talk about today is, how do we believe for bigger? How do we believe for bigger than we already have? Because if we're going to elevate ourselves to the next level and elevate and increase, because again, at this broadcast, for most people who talk about biblical finance, the focus is really on one of two things. It's on giving or it's on stewardship. Now, both of those, very, very important. You cannot achieve your walk with the Lord and be as rich as you possibly want to without those two topics, giving and stewardship. Because if you can't handle what you have now, then you can't handle the more that the Lord wants to bless you with. That's stewardship. And then giving, of course, partnering with the Lord financially. Totally different topic. We cover that a little bit here, but for the most part, not really, because we want to give you skills that you can use today, not tomorrow, not next week, today, that will help you on your walk with life and get you to where you want to go in this life, and not just wait until the next life when you see Jesus in heaven. Okay? So the first thing I want to start out with is this. God is a very big God. And I don't mean that because in the first book of the Bible, God created the heavens and the earth. He created the land. He created the waters and the expanse and the animals and the plants and all of that. He did all that. I'm not talking about that. That's that's a massive, massive endeavor that the Lord did in 6 days. But I want to talk about some of the material things that the Lord, even in his fingertips, has at his expense. So here's what I want to focus on a little bit right now, is going into a couple of scriptures to focus on this. The first is in Revelation. Now, this is not an end time prophecy or anything like that. I don't go into that, but a lot of people do. And in the very end of Revelation, when John is getting the vision of the new Jerusalem that is coming after the rapture of the church, this is what he's seeing. And here's verse 21, chapter 21, verse 21. And the 12 gates of this city were 12 pearls. Each one of the gates was a single pearl. Now, I don't know about you, But if you've ever gone to buy a pearl necklace, you see the pearls that are like, yay, this big. And if you get a nice set of good pearls, they can be 4 or 5 figures. Now, some of them can be a lot more than that, but if you're going to get one that at least at the starting point that isn't cheap, you're going to be 4 or 5 figures or something like this. Now, imagine a pearl that's the size of your front door. How much do you think that's going to be? That's what's in the New Jerusalem. And not only that, here's the second part. And the street of the city was clean gold, as like transparent glass. What does that mean? God is living on streets paved with gold. So if you think for one moment that God is not big enough for whatever dream that you have and the assignment that he has called you to complete, you are so out of your mind, it's not even funny. You've got to start thinking bigger. Much, much bigger than you already are. Because once you start thinking bigger, then you're going to start believing for bigger. And that's going to get you to a place. Again, it's not all about the material possessions, but the reason I like to look at this is because that level of material worth requires a certain level for you to achieve. That's what I want you to focus on, is the level you have to achieve in order to be able to obtain something like that. It's not about the something, it's about the level you have to obtain to achieve that something. That's what I want you to focus on. So for me, when I want to start believing for bigger, believe me, there's always somebody who has more than what you have. So when I look for somebody who has something from more than what I have, it's not about the thing that they have that I want. It's about the level that they have achieved so that they can have what they have. Because once you achieve that level, you will become so much more impactful for the kingdom. And every single thing that you want to achieve in this life, you will be able to obtain by getting to that next level. And it starts by believing bigger than you currently are. That's the only way for you to push forward. It's the only way for you to push forward. That's what I want you to focus on. Okay? And here's another one. I'm sure you've heard this plenty of times. John 14, very first beginning. Let not your heart, this is Jesus talking. Let not your heart be troubled. Believe in God, but also in me. And in my Father's house are many staying places. And if not, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. Staying places, if you look at any other translation, says mansions. So in my Father's house are many mansions. There you go. So in God's house, right now, there are many, many mansions. It doesn't say shacks. Okay? Excuse me. It says mansions. Mansions. And here's the final one that I want to focus on. If those two aren't enough, mansions and streets paved with gold and pearls the size of a gate. Here's another one. This is from the Old Testament. The Old Testament, okay? This is when King Solomon was believing for wisdom to rule Israel that his father King David had given him as an inheritance. So again, King Solomon sacrifices the 1,000 burnt offerings, goes to the Lord and says, I need wisdom. And here's God's response. And God said to King Solomon, because this was in your heart, that you have not asked for riches, wealth, or esteem, or the life of your enemies, nor have you asked for long life, but have asked wisdom and knowledge for yourself, so as to rightly rule my people over whom I have set you up to reign. Wisdom and knowledge are given to you. And here it is. And riches and wealth and esteem I also give you, such as none of the sovereigns have had who have been before you, nor any after you have. So there you go. Now this may not seem big to you, but to me it's huge. Why? Because at this time, King Solomon was earning about $1 billion in tribute from the surrounding neighborhood countries. From the surrounding neighborhood tribes, they were contributing tribute to King Solomon and his country. Why? Because King David had conquered them, and they had become subjects to the Israelites. And they were paying $1 billion, billion with a B, every single year. That's not including the wealth that King Solomon was generating for the kingdom actively. That's just passive, that they were paying him. And here God says, I'm going to give you riches and wealth and esteem. As if that wasn't enough. He said, I'm going to make you rich. Solomon was already beyond richer than most people would ever dream of. But God still said, I'm making you rich. So I want to get you to focus and hone in on this so clearly. This is not about the material possessions that you can get when you get to that level. Although it's nice to have the abundance. But the main focus is going to be on the level that you can achieve for yourself and for the kingdom when you get there. And of course, the material possessions are just a nice part of it. Not setting that aside. It is a very nice and pleasurable part because God wants you to have a pleasurable experience with this life. He called you to have a very long and prosperous life. He did. So that long and prosperous life does not mean you're going to be eating Jell-O for the last 20 years of your life after the company you worked for 40 years just booted you out the door and stole your pension. That's not how God wants you to live. And that's not how you're supposed to live. You're supposed to live in abundance, in massive abundance. That's what I really want you to hone in on today, is to elevate your level of thinking to the next level that you have to achieve in order to get where you want to go in this life. That's what comes first. The method comes next, and we talk about the method significantly on this broadcast. But for now, the first part is for you to believe bigger. Believe significantly bigger than you already are. So how do we do that? The first thing is to speak it out. To speak out what you're believing for. And believing for, and this is the most difficult part for a lot of people, because some of you have worked the same job for 10 years and haven't had a raise, and you're just barely getting by because inflation has just completely destroyed you. Well, guess what? In order for you to get to that next level, you have to start living your life by design and not by default, which is where most people are living. They're just going by the motions, going through every day and just hoping they get by. Even Christians. So that's why I have to have you elevate your level of thinking, because in order for you to get to the next level, you have to at least see for the next level and then speak where you're going for the next level. Does that make sense? It does. Okay, perfect. So that's what I want you to start believing for. So for example, if you have your home right now and it's not the where you want to be, I want you to go into the room that you want fixed the most. The room that you deem as the most important room. Whatever room that is, wherever that is. And I want you to start believing for what it's going to look like. I want you to start talking out what the furniture is going to look like. The paint. If you're looking for a nice shower, what that looks like. And so it's not just a shower from the 80s that barely functions. I want you to think about it and believe it and imagine it and speak it out loud. Thank you, Father, for giving me all the desires of my heart. Thank you, Father, for this updated room. Now again, I'm just using that room as an example. Some of you need to have a nicer car. So you can believe for it. Imagine yourself driving it. And the first thing for you to do is to speak it out loud. And the reason you do that first is because the second one is actually believing it in your heart. And if you can't believe it in your heart, you cannot speak it out loud. You cannot. Okay? So in order for you to have it built into your heart and your spirit that this is where I'm going and this is what I'm going to achieve for the kingdom, because again, let's say you're believing for an SUV for a larger family, and that SUV brand new is probably in the low six figures right now. Now you may be thinking, oh, that's just materialism. Guess what? What do you think the tithe on getting to a six-figure vehicle is? How about an offering? So before you think, oh, you're just in it for materials, I want you to think about this. If you're going to achieve what you want to achieve for the kingdom, giving is on the path to achieve that. So you're going to have given significant amounts into the kingdom before that material possession comes into your place. But for a lot of you, it's about getting to that next level to achieve that possession or abundance that you want to have. So before you can even believe it in your heart, you have to at least speak it. Speak it. That's the next step. And then the third step is to act as if it's already done. Act as if it's already done. So when you're driving that beat up minivan, imagine yourself driving a Ford Excursion or whatever you're looking for. If you have kids and they're tight in the van and they're getting bigger and you need something bigger, you got to start believing for it first. And then imagine yourself driving it. Because I'm going to tell you this. This is something I've learned very, very recently. That what you're going to attract, what you believe in your mind, you're going to attract out loud and in person. You're going to attract it. It's a natural attraction that you're going to have, but you start believing for the bigger and have it in your mind on a very regular basis. Okay? So that's what I want you to think about first. Number one, speaking it out loud. Whatever you're believing for. Whatever you're believing. And you should always be believing for something. Even if you just received what you're believing for today, tomorrow you wake up and say, I'm believing for something bigger. Why? Because that's how we have the continual increase that the Lord promised us as the seed of Abraham. That's how it occurs. So that's what I want you to focus on. Every single day, yes, we celebrate what we have achieved, but we also believe for more. Okay? That's the importance of it. So once we have that once we have that belief in our heart and we act as if it's already done and we believe for it, we absolutely believe for it, what is our next step? Though the first step for most people is, how do I pay for this? Natural reaction. How do I pay for this? Great. I've done all these imaginary exercises before. I've done it all before. I've thought about it before. I've believed for it before. I just end up disappointed. So I'm just never going to believe for anything I've ever done ever again. No. You missed something at the other time when you tried to believe for something. And now it's time to do something different. Why? Because last time you were focused on the money and how you had to be able to generate those funds. Now, yes, your work is going to generate those funds. It is. And we talk about that quite a bit on working your assignment and how to work. That's the most important thing, and how to work. That is part of it. But before you can get there, you have to be able to believe for it. And here's the focus I want to talk about. If you focus on the money, on how much it's going to cost you, you're never going to make it happen. You're never going to make it happen. Ever. Why? Because Scripture tells us you'll never make it happen. And this is likely why most of you who have believed for things in the past have not had them come to fruition. Because once you start believing for something and it costs a significant more than you have today, your first thought is, how am I going to earn this? How am I going to earn this? That's a problem. That's a problem. Now, again, it does cost money and money's not going to fall from the sky. But the focus cannot be on the money. It cannot. Why? Here we go. Proverbs 23, verse 5. Right here. Remember, this is King Solomon talking. Do you set your eyes on that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away like an eagle to the heavens. What does this mean? When you glance your eyes on the riches and you focus on the riches will fly away. This is why you haven't achieved what you have believing for in the past. I guarantee it. If you're at the point where you believe for $1,000 level, then a $10,000 level, and now even a $100,000 level, and you believe for it and you've achieved it, and now you're believing for that $1 million level, and you're thinking, how am I going to pay for $1 million? You're never going to achieve the $1 million. You're never going to achieve it. So this is why at some point, this is where most people are going to hit their mental roadblock. At some point, they will have achieved to the point where I I in my own abilities can achieve a certain monetary threshold. But once I have to go beyond that monetary threshold, now I'm thinking, oh, how the heck am I going to do this? That's the problem. You're focusing on the money. You shouldn't be focusing on the money. Your first focus should be believing for it. Now, again, I want to make this clear. This is not a lottery message. That things, once you just believe and all you do is sit at home, believe and things are just going to fall from the sky. No. But the first act and the first focus is the belief and the focus on what you're trying to achieve, not how you're going to pay for it. Not how you're going to pay for it. The Lord is going to help you with that, and the information that I give you on this broadcast from the Bible is going to get you on the right path that you can get with the Lord to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. But the first thing you have to do is you have to believe for it and then get on your road for the assignment. The next step, after you believe for it, without focusing on how you're going to pay for it, is getting on your assignment. Getting on your assignment. And that that road path is going to help you do that. And we talk about that quite a bit here. And once you start hearing this over and over and over again, you're going to wake up every single day thinking, what is my assignment? Okay? Even if you have a job right now that is totally dead end and has no possible way of you achieving what you're believing for, guess what? You can still focus on the other 24 hours that you have in the day that aren't being used for something that's currently paying your bills to believe for that bigger thing and work towards that bigger thing. That's what I want you to focus on today, is what is my assignment, getting on that assignment, and then believing for what I'm freaking believing for, no matter how great it is. No matter how great it is. Because that's what I want you to do. How do we do that? Proverbs 16, verse 3. Commit your works to God, and your plans shall be established. That's what you do. You believe for it, and then commit your works to the Lord on your assignment, and your plans will be established. This is how you're going to achieve what you're believing for. You get on the Lord's assignment for your life, and you will achieve whatever you want to achieve in this life. The Lord will establish your plans. He will give you the supernatural revelation to be able to do that. Now then, yes, the next thing you're going to do is to walk on that path. Walk on that path. Because I'm going to tell you this. When I first heard a message like this, and I pray that you're going to be with me now and not come from where I came from. That when I first heard this, it sounded like a lottery mentality when the focus is on believing for what I want instead of focusing on how to pay for what I want. That is at a first glance, that can seem like a very lottery mentality. And I want to make this crystal clear. It is not the lottery mentality. A lottery mentality would say, I'm just going to believe. And I'm going to sit at home. I'm going to be on my couch. I'm going to believe. And it's just going to magically show up. Because the first time I heard this message, this is what the first thing that came to my mind was, I no matter what I do, as long as I just believe, it'll come to pass. No matter what. And all I have to do is believe. No. And this is where most people will get disappointed. Because the first moment they get this belief in their system, one of two things happens. Number one, they don't work at all. Because it's a lot more emotionally enticing, I should say, when you hear a message of all you have to do is believe and it'll just come in. All you have to do is just believe and it'll come in. Now that's a lottery mentality, and it feels very good. So it's thinking about why work? Why even work? All I have to do is believe, and it'll just come in. And again, it can feel very, very good. That's what I want you to avoid. Is that. And then number two is focusing on how to pay for it. Right here is how you're going to pay for it. Commit your works to the Lord, and your plans shall be established. Your plans shall be established. That's how you're going to pay for it. Your focus is not on the money. Again, I want to emphasize this so crystal clear. Your focus is not on the money. Your focus is on your assignment and doing what the Lord asks you to do in the way he wants it done. And then whatever you're believing for will be achieved. It will be achieved. That's what I want you to do. So no matter what you're at today, I want to give you this assignment right now. Number one is I want you to really focus on what your assignment is. What has the Lord really called you to do? What has the Lord really called you to do? And what is your purpose on this earth? So for me, my mission is to improve the financial well-being of believers through biblical principles and expand the wealth of the kingdom by taking from the enemy. That's my vision that I'm supposed to achieve from now until when I meet Jesus. Now, my mission on top of that is to help 1 million believers double their income with sorrowless riches. That's my mission. Okay? Vision and mission. Those are my assignments right here. And every single thing that I do every single day is a focus for that assignment. Whatever you have been called to achieve, whatever you have for the Lord, you focus on that and you work it every single day. And you believe for what you're supposed to be believing for. You believe for it. You continue to believe for more. That's what's going to help you get to that next level. You have to believe for the next level first, and then you can achieve the next level. So that's what I want you to do right now, is focus on what your assignment is. Whatever that is for the Lord. It doesn't have to be financial. My focus that the Lord has given me is financial. Yours may not be that. Maybe it is. Because guess what? I'm one person. And there's a massive world out there that needs help. Maybe you've been called to be a world changer in business and in finance. Maybe you have. Maybe you haven't, and you have another plan and purpose. Maybe you're a musician. Maybe you've been called to create greater worship music in some avenue that maybe nobody else has. That's your assignment. Okay? And you may be managing a Walgreens right now, but the Lord has called you, you know what? I'm supposed to make music. Well, guess what? Your funds from that Walgreens are supposed to be funding the beginning of your musician career. So it's going to be the computer that you're getting, the sound system that you need to record, the instruments, all the technology, all of that is going to be funded by whatever endeavors you have right now, if that's your plan and purpose. It's going to be. And you're going to achieve that, and I'll help you achieve that on this broadcast. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. It is. No matter where you are, I don't care what level you are right now. Maybe you're at the $10 million level and you're watching me right now. I want to get you to 100 million. It's going to take a different level of skill, a different level of vision, and a different level of belief than what you have now. But I promise you, I don't care what your level is. You can and will achieve the next level. But you first have to start believing for it. Because again, some of you at the $10 million level right now are stuck because you and your great abilities, your great sales skills, your great motivational skills, your great organizational skills, your great leadership skills have gotten you to the $10 million level. But you now think, how am I going to get to 100 million? How can I believe for something that great? Because you felt like you did it on your, yes, the Lord co-labored with you, but you felt like you could do it on your own strength. There comes a point wherever you are, now you could be at the $10,000 level or the $10 million level, when you think there's no possible way I can get to the next level. That's where your belief has to be elevated. And that's what you're going to do today. You're going to elevate your belief. Elevate your belief to the next level. Right now. Okay? And so what I want to help you to do that is this. You're going to have to remind yourself every single day of why you're doing what you're doing. And not just why you're doing what you're doing, but the fruits of the labor that you're going to achieve as well. Because a lot of you, again, if the Lord knows how to motivate you, He's going to motivate you on the path that you have for you. Because again, on your path are going to be giants in your promised land that you're going to have to fight, and you're going to have a lot of challenges there. But the victories that you will achieve on that are going to help solidify that belief and get you to that next level. And how you do that is this. Habakkuk 2:2 and 3. And the Lord answered Habakkuk and said, write the vision and inscribe it on tablet, so that he who reads it runs. There you go. Right there. This is how you're going to help get you to the next level and solidify that belief every single day. Every single day when you wake up, you have that belief, you have that vision that you're going to run towards every single day. Every single day, no matter what comes at you. No matter what comes at you. I'm telling you this right now. I don't tell anything that goes on in my personal life when it comes to putting on this broadcast for you. But I'm telling you this. I got food poisoning 3 days ago. 3 days ago. I haven't eaten since. And everything I have tried to eat, I've just puked. Even in the middle of the night, just sitting on the... I don't even want to describe it. I don't care. You're going to have the same thing happen to you. Something along those lines. That you're going to say, something's trying to attack me. I can't do this today. But guess what? You know what? You're going to do it today. You're going to do it today. And you're going to keep doing it every single day. And you're going to run. And when you have that vision, you have it inscribed on the tablets, and you look at it every single day, it's going to make you run. It's going to make you run. So, and yes, that could include nice possessions. That could include a nice vacation. That could include a nice car, a nicer house. If you want to build an orphanage, if that's what motivates you, then put it on the tablet. Put it on the tablet. No matter where you are, put it on the tablet. Put together a collage. Put together a collage of all the things that you have, that you want to achieve. It doesn't matter if they're selfish or they're selfless. If it gets you going on your assignment and it motivates you to believe for the next level, then you do it. And you look at it every single day. Every single day. Okay? For the vision is yet for an appointed time, and it speaks of the end, and does not lie. If it lingers, wait for it, and it shall certainly come. It shall certainly come. If it shall not delay. There you go. So how do you do that? Every single day, you look at what you want to achieve. What you want to achieve. Again, it could be selfish. It could be a selfish material possession. I don't care. If you're believing for an $80,000 sports car, not even a Ferrari, just an $80,000 sports car, a nice Corvette, a vintage Porsche, something along those lines. Guess what? In order to achieve that, you're going to have to get to your next level. And with that, if that's what motivates you to get to your next level, then you do it. Then you do it. Okay? Here's what I want to. Let's just say, for example, my wife showed this to me the other day. When my wife and I got married, I'll show it to you in a second. But when my wife and I got married, we decided to, for all intent and purposes, elope. It was the ceremony that we had not even a dozen people in it. It was just me, her, I think 6-8 people at my pastor's house. Now he's a wealthy man, still is. Great man. He's the pastor that married us. Him and his wife had, I think it was a $3 million home. We had it in his backyard. It was beautiful. It was just us. I think all in all, this is probably going to surprise you. But all in all, my outfit, her outfit, the entire wedding and all the stuff, plus the weekend getaway after the wedding, didn't even cost us $1,000. We had better uses for the funds that we had at the time. That's just who we are. And that's just who we were. That's who we are. And again, we don't live that way now, but at the time, that was our focus. So we didn't really have a nice wedding per se, just simply because we wanted to avoid, beyond putting finances aside, we wanted to avoid the drama. That's what we really wanted to do. Because what I have found a lot of the times, and my brother had this when he got married, is the main focus when he was preparing for the wedding wasn't even the celebration or the enjoyment of the matrimony itself. It was all about who has to sit at this table because these people, this lady dated some guy that she's now dating, or these people aren't speaking to each other. If we put them together with champagne and alcohol, they're gonna get messed up and all of that. We wanted to just completely avoid that garbage. Okay? That's what we wanted to do. So that's what we ended up doing. Now, she and I have talked about where would we like to have a nice ceremony and all of that. It's not just for us to have the nice ceremony, because we're not going to do this alone. We're going to bring our families together. So one of the things that we are believing for is a destination renewal of some sort in the future. Now, she had mentioned Greece the other day. Now, I've always wanted to go to Greece. I haven't been there yet because Revelation was written by John on Patmos Island, which is in Greece. And you can go there. You can see it firsthand where John was isolated as a prisoner and wrote the book of Revelation. Greece is a beautiful place. It is. So she was sending me pictures the other day of what she would like a ceremony to look like in Greece. And this is just something that she came up with right here. So this is just one example of something that you can have on your vision. If you are like me, and maybe, the thing is, we could have afforded something like this back then. Greece is not a super expensive place to go to. It's not. The airfare, if you get a cheap coach ticket, it's a lot cheaper than you think it is. So before you start thinking, oh my goodness, I got to spend all this money to do it nice, not necessarily. But we just ended up choosing not to. Now, when we do this again, this is something we're believing for. It's not just for us and our own families and our now kids to be able to achieve this achievement with us. We want to fly our parents on both sides, okay? My mom, my dad, her dad, none of them are together anymore. So we're going to fly all of them out there. We want to fly all our siblings out there and all their nieces and nephews and all of that. We want to fly them all out there for a week and just celebrate with us for an entire week. Bring everybody out there. So that's something we're believing for. So we put this on our vision and we believe for this together. So that's something. So if something like that is going to help you get to your next level, then you do it. I don't care if you think, oh, you're just materialistic. Guess what? There's an abundance that you're supposed to live in. And guess what? If you're living poor, nobody wants your life. And if nobody wants your life, you're not going to win a lot of souls to the kingdom. You're just not. So, look, I know there's ministers out there who are winning a lot of souls. And you're doing it without having a lot of material possessions. Maybe you don't have a large church, but you're winning a lot of souls. Guess what? If you're not in the ministerial realm and you're in the private sector and you talk about this great big God that you have and you talk about him all the time about how great he is, but you're driving a beat up hoopty that's 2 months payments behind, nobody wants your life. And if nobody wants your life, they don't want to serve the God that you serve. That's why this is so important, because a lot of people, one of the biggest problems in America today is financial. It's financial. So therefore, if you as a believer achieve what the Bible calls you to achieve, and you do it, and you promote this big God that you have every single day, and you drive down in a brand new Escalade, and somebody says, wow, I want one of those. Yeah, I do too. And the Lord really blessed me with this great vehicle for myself and my family. And they're going to be like, huh? God can give you an SUV? God can give you an Escalade? Yeah. He can give you a private plane. He can give you a private island. That's nothing for God. That's nothing for God. We could believe for something on a private island, but I know that's not something that our families are going to want to enjoy. Being alone with each other for a week. That's a disaster waiting to happen. So that's why we ended up wanting to believe for something along these lines. So what do? We believe for it, we act as though it is, and we move on our assignment every single day. And part of my assignment is doing this broadcast for you. For you to get the assistance that you need today to get yourself to the next level. So whatever it is, put it together. No matter what it is. If it motivates you, then it motivates you. If it's a vacation, so be it. If it's a car, so be it. If it's an orphanage, so be it. If it's a bigger church building you want to plant, so be it. So be it. Because if it helps you get to the next level, to achieve the next level of finances that you know you're supposed to achieve for the Lord, then that's going to work. Now it's going to work. And if it gets you going and it gets you running, that's the most important thing. So that's what I want you to do today. I want you to get on there and put together a collage of pictures of things that you're believing for. Something, if you could design the perfect life that you could see every single day and think, I want this, and put it together and do what Habakkuk 2 says. Put it on the tablet. Now, I don't think Habakkuk had in mind that we actually have electronic tablets. Now, back then, Habakkuk had to write the vision on a physical stone tablet. That's what Moses had to do when he wrote the Ten Commandments. He had to get stones and chisel it on the stone tablet. That's what Habakkuk had to do. Today, we have electronic tablets. Guess what? Habakkuk probably didn't know that, but God did. God knew 3,000 years later, you'd have electronic tablets. Guess what? Whatever screen you have, put it on there. Put together a collage and believe for it every single day and act as though it is. Don't ever think, how am I going to pay for it? You're going to achieve that if you work on your assignment in the way that the Lord asks you to. He will give you the supernatural ideas, especially if you're a tither. And he'll open the windows of heaven to get you what you're believing for. That's what I want you to focus on today. That's what I want to leave you with today. Expanding your level of belief. That's what I want you to focus on today. So with that being said, thank you so much for being with me. I'm live twice. Right now, I'm live twice a week, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Come join me live. Come here. Again, I'll be streaming on multiple platforms very, very shortly. So you can see me on Twitch. You'll be able to see me on YouTube. You'll see me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. You'll see me at that very, very soon. I can't wait to talk to you guys wherever you are. If you need some help getting to your next level vision, send me an email. One of us will get back to you and we'll help you get on your road of life and get what you have been called to achieve and get everything you can out of this life. With that being said, take care, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.